Hey, what's up, everyone? How everyone doing today? So we're just going to wait for a little bit for some people to join. What's up? What's up, everyone? How y'all doing? All right. So the title of this is how you manage bulking and cutting without the extremes. Okay. This is going to be a really good one just because I've have seen and even know clients, even myself, I used to suffer with this when it came to bulking and cutting. It's one of those things that creates like crazy lifestyle habits also as well. Um, it drives you insane, and then you get left in the sauce of just being complacent and just in this place where you're just like this skinny fat, or you just decide to stay heavy, or you just decide to stay very very lean and just don't know how to build muscle, right? And it's one of the reasons why a lot of people also think individuals that has a lot of muscle and also be cut at the same time, they don't understand that how those individuals are able to have sustainable results and look like that all year round without going on a true bulk phase or actual cut phase, right? And mind boggles them because when they try it, then what ends up happening is they get too skinny, and then when they bulk, they put on too much body fat. And I used to be there myself. You know what I'm saying? I used to be these guys. Like I would go on a bulk, get super fat. I'll be at 20% body fat, just eating what I want. Like I have good strength and everything like that. I'll be fitting into bigger clothes. I feel like I'm getting big, but being at 20% body fat, I feel slow. My cardio endurance sucks, And then when it's time to cut, it would be so hard to cut because I have so much body fat to do. And then even when I cut, I'm not even at the place where I want to be because I'm thinking that I'm going to get this ripped six pack, and I end up just going down from 20 to 15, and I'm just stuck there, right? So people think that you have to do certain extremes just to get ripped and extremes to get bulky, but that's not the case. Okay. So something that I do, and I also teach a lot of my clients to do, is something called carb cycling. Okay. And I've done many videos on this before. Now, when I do the videos, sometimes I usually connect it where I'm showing people how to eat like the favorite foods that you enjoy while being able to stay ripped. So that's one of the benefits of carb cycling. But another benefit is also where you're able to cut a lot of body fat and then be able to maintain the muscle and even build muscle at the same time. Now, would y'all like me to go ahead and show you how those meal plans actually look like in real time when I create them for my clients so you have a better understanding? If so, go ahead and put a thumbs up in the chat. I'll go ahead and show y'all that right now. So let me know if you want to see that meal plan, and I'll go ahead and do so. So let me, all right. So we get some people saying, yeah. All right, perfect. So let me go ahead and pull it up for you guys real quick. And I'll give y'all a prime example on how that looks. All right, so let's go ahead and bring it up. All right. So this is how my app looks like. All right. And we just pulled up one of my clients. And we're going to pull up the meal plan right here. So this is going to be a prime example of reverse dieting. Okay. So let's see. Wait for this to load up. Here it is. All right. So when it comes to carb cycling, as you can see, the first thing we want to provide is your caloric intake. All right. Now, the calorie intake is really going to be different for everybody because it depends on the goals that they're really trying to achieve. So, for example, if you're trying to lose body fat, like if that's the primary goal right now is to lose body fat, then obviously you want to be in a calorie deficit. But let's say you want to be able to put on muscle too without getting too skinny. Because what happens is this: people will stay in a deficit and then go so extreme that they'll lose too much body fat. And then when they lose the body fat, they'll stay in that deficit because they feel that the only way you can keep the weight off is staying in a deficit. And that's not true. Okay. You have to understand what calories are. Calories is a unit of heat. It's how we measure energy when it comes to food. And now we have to understand what fat is. Fat is stored energy that's not being utilized throughout the body. All right. So with that said, what you need to do when you lose the body fat is start carb cycling. So you're able to keep the weight off, have your metabolism start utilizing all the extra calories that you're actually using while keeping the fat off. So what I usually do is certain days I'll have my client eat low amount of calories. So for example, if we were cutting, we would have the calories set up for it to be in the deficit. They'll follow that for maybe around 3 to 5 days, depending on how aggressive we want the cut. And then certain days where they have a cheat day, or what I like to say, refeeds. I hate using cheat day because a cheat day is like breaking your moral code, moral obligation, right? So I hate saying cheat because you're not technically cheating. You're just eating more food that's in a more controlled environment. So you're able to replenish your glycogen levels, be able to get more calories in, to be able to build more muscle, have more energy and stamina, those type of things, right? Because you're not going to get fat by just eating higher amount of calories just in 2 days, right? So as you can see, we first provide you the total caloric intake, but then after that, we have it designed for certain days that they're eating low days, a day where they're eating a medium day, and a day they're eating a high day. Okay. Now, this right here isn't permanent. This is just an example because there's many people who knows about carb cycling knows that you could have like 5 days low, 2 high days, maybe 3 days low, 1 medium, 1 high, maybe 3 days low, 2 high days, or 6 days low, 1 high day. There's so many different variations of doing the carb cycling, but the carb cycling is really going to base on how aggressive you want the cut. That's the best way I can explain it to simplify it. So if it was for like a bodybuilding show and I need to get someone cut fast, then we probably go for a 5 or 6 day cut with 1 refeed, because that individual is probably already like lean, but we want them to get like crazy shredded, but we don't want to burn a lot of muscle in the process. Also make the athlete feel super fatigued in the process as well, because they need some more energy. They're running off fumes technically, right? So this is where carb cycling will come into play, because they can get through the workouts on the days when they're cutting, but once they're feeling gassed out, that's when they have some extra food in their system, recharges them up, and then they're able to go back into that cut again with some more energy. Okay. So with this meal plan, you can see this individual is at 144 pounds. His goals is to put on lean muscle mass, right? So we already worked with him with the cut so he can get shredded. But to be able to put on lean muscle mass without the weight regain, what I'm doing is slowly adding more calories back to his diet, right? So he's able to stay lean, but eat more food and be able to use these calories to be able to build lean muscle mass. Okay. So this is what we're doing. And in this type of carb cycle, we would call this more of a reverse diet. Same principles of carb cycling, but versus bringing the calories down, we're slowly bringing the calories up. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that even people who want to bulk do. It's like once they decide to go on a bulking season, they'll just shoot their calories up to like 4,000 calories, start eating, and then they're wondering why they were able to put on like 10, 15 pounds in 1 week, and all of it's just water and body fat, right? And it's because it's just way too much for the system to process. You're shocking your body like that, and you're just creating bad dietary habits. So you want to do it slowly so your metabolism can kind of get used to it. You could focus on how your body actually utilizes these calories, if it's breaking it down into pure energy, so you could be able to put on more mass and you're putting on the right amount of weight, which is lean muscle mass, or if you're just holding too much water and putting on body fat, right? So with this individual, he was going, when we started his cut, we started him, I think, around like 1,800 calories. And then once we started reversing, we got him all the way up between 27 to 3,200 calories. And I believe in the next phase, we're going to go ahead and bring it up again, because we kept him in this particular phase for the past, I want to say for the past 2 months with these calorie counts, just because it got to a point where he couldn't eat anymore. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't eat anymore. His stomach hasn't stretched large enough, and it was just becoming a challenge to eat more food. So what we do is when it comes to those type of issues, we focus more on like just helping his stomach get a little bit more stretched out and just getting more accustomed to eating more food. And this, again, takes time. This is why, like, when people do join like programs and stuff like that, you shouldn't have such a strict time limit. Like, everyone's trying to wait for like the perfect moment, or have a particular time frame on how they want to accomplish stuff. But I'm like, if you're trying to make it more of a lifestyle change, you want to take your time. And the people that taste their time, has a better understanding how this works, they get the best results from it, because they don't feel that everything's so forced. Because if it was, let's say if you gave me 16 weeks, I want to be like, well, you need to eat it. You need it. It's like, you see what I'm coming at? It's like, if you try to restrict everything in such a time period, then when it comes to the coaching has to be strict and very, very aggressive as well. And most people don't really respond well from that, right? So when it comes down to this, we're going to start slowly adding it. But some of the cool things that I do, and I talked about this yesterday with the whole carb cycling deal, is that we do something called a hypernourishment protocol, right? So hypernourishment means that we want to make sure that the client is getting more than enough calories, not just calories, but micronutrients. They're getting more enough nutrients that they need to optimize their health wellness goals. And remember, yesterday I was showing y'all from my fitness pal. I should have just brought it up here. I wasn't really thinking that well yesterday, but as you can see, we can see if you're hitting your total caloric and macronutrient goals. We can see if you're all the foods that the individual is eating as well. But when it comes to the hypernourishment, we can also see if they're getting more than enough vitamins, minerals, dietary fiber. So that's going to help with overall health and wellness. Okay. So even though he's eating high amounts of calories, we want to make sure out of all those calories, he's eating healthy. Okay. Because that's going to play a big role as well. So as you can see, he's having like high protein pancakes with some tofu scramble. He got the Buddha bowl. And then I even added some sushi and some pizza in there as well. And then when it comes down to his refeeds, he could add like some overnight oats with some like fruits. And now, does this mean that he can have pizza and sushi every single day? You're probably like, man, you gave your client sushi and pizza every day. Some people might be like, I love this plan. Sign me up right now. I could eat sushi and pizza, right? Like, and get ripped and build muscle. Sign me up. Like, this dude is literally showing this in the meal plan. Or you're like, how's that even possible? That's crazy. Well, that's not healthy. Well, here's the thing. There's two things about this plan. Number one is that, again, remember, we focus on a hypernourishment protocol. So he's getting all the nutrients he needs. He's getting a lot of dietary fiber. So he's already healthy, and he's not putting on body fat. So why not? Why not have sushi and pizza? I mean, the sushi he's eating is all healthy. It's just rice, seaweed, vegetables. I mean, that's all healthy. And the pizza that he's eating is the pizza that I create, which is the cheeseburger pizza that you can see right here on YouTube, right? And all my meal plans are connected to all my videos are connected to the meal plan so they can see. As you see, the ingredients I use is all healthy stuff too. I get the best of the best stuff. All right. So like this is why he could do this. But the reality behind this method is to usually when clients start losing body fat and they get ripped, they get so accustomed to eating so clean and healthy, they almost get intimidated to eat fun foods again, right? So when I put these options in the meal plans, it's not telling them that they should have those meals every single day. If they could, it can't hurt them. But I'm showing them that you could have these foods and still be healthy and fit, because that's what's going to really open up people's horizon and build a better relationship in their eating habits. When they actually know that they can eat these particular type of foods, they're fun foods without putting body fat. See, because a lot of nutritionists and trainers, they like to demonize like fun foods, comfort foods, hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza, sushi, like chips, things like that, junk food, cookies. A lot of people like to demonize that to the max, right? But then what do real people do? Like real people technically eat these foods anyways, right? So that's the thing. Like I don't demonize those type of food items. I try to show people that you can have these food items as long as you know how to balance it out. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the foods you want to be eating supposed to be healthy and should be healthy, but then you can also incorporate some comfort food in there as well and still be healthy and have optimal blood work. Okay? Because you want to have a good relationship with food. You want to learn how to be able to eat out with friends and family without the headache of trying to be this health freak. Unless you enjoy being a health freak and the black swan in your family, yeah, go ahead and knock yourself out, right? But if you're someone like myself who likes to have that freedom to eat what they want and be able to have a better understanding of portion control, because that word gets flinging around all the time, but it's like you can't teach someone portion control if their eating habits were always shitty. You just can't. Because portion control in their mind is like having a salad, and that one salad to them is healthy, and then they can eat chips, hot dogs, cake, and a whole bunch of French toast and crappy bread. And then they're like, well, I had a salad today. Isn't that portion control? No, man, that's not portion. Portion control is going to be more like this. This is how portion control really looks like when you understand how much food you should be eating when it comes to not just the meals, but also the ingredients to create the meals. So you can make sure you are eating healthy. Does that make sense? All right. So that's something I wanted to show y'all. But with that said, let's check out some stuff. So let's answer some questions. So Val says, do you do meal plans for weight loss? I'm currently on an egg fast and then going carnivore, but I want to stay on the vegan diet long term. My mentor doesn't think vegan keeps me satiated. Yeah, I work on people that wants to lose weight. I literally showed you a meal plan. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you could definitely lose body fat on a plant-based diet. And I won't be honest with you. I mean, if you truly want to do this, like if you want to go like vegan or plant-based, like if that's the case, I will find a coach that's plant-based and work with them. I mean, you have me, you're talking to me right now live. Like I would definitely do that. Okay. So I would definitely hit myself up, go on Instagram, or I could send you the sign up link right now. You can book your appointment and talk to me, because it's like, why are you going to work with someone who's carnivore and you want to go vegan long term, but you're going the complete opposite to lose weight? That doesn't make sense, And I don't know like how like how deep of a vegan you are. And when I say this, I'm not trying to make fun of you or anything, but I'm just asking questions so you could kind of think about it, right? I'm just saying these things so you could kind of think about it, because I talk about this stuff in my masterclass. Why if you're vegan, like some people are vegan for animals, right? Not just for health related purposes. So why break your own moral code just to lose body fat? Just because someone who's on a carnivore diet is telling you one thing and not speaking to a vegan. And maybe this is why you're here now asking, But I would say this, like, I wouldn't ask a plumber if something was wrong with my heart. Who would I ask? A cardiologist, right? So don't ask someone who isn't vegan that to lose body fat on a vegan lifestyle if they're not vegan themselves. It just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So if you're still here, still watching this, I would definitely book a call with me. If not with me, you could definitely book with someone else who's plant-based. There's a lot of plant-based coaches out there, but I would definitely do that. And I'll throw the link in the chat so you can go ahead and book. But I would definitely do that. Okay. Because that's where you're going to get the best results from. You need someone who's more knowledgeable in the field of what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. But you could lose. I work with people with weight loss to answer your question. You could do it on a plant-based diet. You could do it on a vegan diet. If you want to incorporate meat in your diet and slowly transition to a plant-based diet, I do that as well. We call it more of a plant-forward diet or a holistic diet. Because I used to consume meat myself, I decided to not eat meat because I just know the benefit, the science is there. It just shows you that plant-based is more beneficial. But not saying that you can't be healthy on an animal-based diet. You can, but it's just there's less risk on a plant-based diet, and that's why I chose to do it. But I still train people who eat meat, and simple as that. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if there's any questions on Instagram. Let's see. Bono says, I'm skinny fat, always have been. What is your opinion on Neil Barnard's superfood diet? Good question. I'm not really familiar of his superfood diet, but I could look it up. Neil Barnard. Well, from what it looks like, I typed it in, and here's what I got, which makes sense. And it kind of goes off of what I just told Val. All right. You're skinny fat, and you say you're skinny fat and you want to do Neil Barnard's diet. So Neil Barnard diet, the superfood diet, is mainly for weight loss, right? And when it comes for his diet and weight loss, and I know you said like skinny fat, so obviously you're attracted to that, but he's more working with people with like a lot of like health issues and very overweight, not skinny fat, so that's number one. Number two, his diet doesn't go very specific, as you saw with my diet. Because you have to kind of understand this, like when it comes to, and it's not with like Dr. Barnard. I mean, the approach is good, obviously. It's showing you eating whole foods, plant-based, that's great, but it's very broad. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing very specific for each individual. And a lot of doctors are like that, like Dr. Michael Greger, like everybody, a lot of plant-based doctors are like that. They're usually very like broad. And the reason is because they're more book smart, if that makes sense. They're more book smart, and they're more focused on the clients that they get every day, which is more the nutritional part of it. Where and what I'm trying to get with this is really that they're more focused on people just trying to incorporate more of a plant-based food diet and just trying to load their brain to let them know that you're going to see weight loss changes. You know, there's reward. They're trying to show you that there's rewards by eating more healthier, if that makes sense. Okay. So it's like they're not promoting like get a ripped six pack. Like I promote get a ripped six pack on a plant-based diet. Like that's what I promote because it's a high claim because I know I can do it. You know what I mean? Their goal is not to get you a ripped six pack, it's to just have you eat healthy. You know what I'm saying? They're dealing with people that are addicted to like Coca-Cola and junk food. You know what I'm saying? So that's why their knowledge and what they preach is based on that, but not to the extremes of like getting a six pack. I do all of it. I'm trying to show you like how to eat healthy, how to change out your dietary preferences, and be able to get a ripped six pack too, because it's like you're getting the whole enchilada. It's not just the entry step. Because for that, the doctors, their main concerns are as long as you're healthy, and it's going to increase longevity. They don't really care too much about your physical appearance or your physical attributes when it comes to like strength and stuff. Like they don't care that much. You know what I'm saying? They just care like if you know how to control the foods that you put in your mouth and we can optimize your blood work, get you off of medications, we done our job. And they did. Okay. So if you're like skinny fat doesn't equate to being overweight or unhealthy. So you're in the right direction, but that's not on the right road, if that makes sense. All right. So you're getting good knowledge, but you need something more practical for you. So again, I would definitely hit the link in the bio or DM me, sign up to the program. All right. Let me help you, give you a program that's going to help get rid of that skinny fat, because when it comes down to that, the carb cycling is going to play the biggest role. That will definitely, when someone's skinny fat, carb cycling. That's the first meal plan I provide them. It's a carb cycling program because they don't need to be in a strict hardcore deficit. They need days that they're in a deficit, days they're in the refeed. So that's what's going to play a big part. Let's see what Val says. She says she's been vegan before. Oh, he's not carnivore, but his cousin lost a bunch of weight on carnivore. Oh, got it. I totally understand that now. Okay, so yeah, man. Well, with that said, then now I totally understand where you're coming from, because you just see like, all right, he lost a lot of weight on a carnivore, and then maybe you're thinking like, I need to do carnivore to do the same. I get it. You're going off of anecdotal evidence, right? But here's the thing, and I said this before. To lose body fat, it doesn't matter what diet you're on. You could be vegan, plant-based, vegetarian, pescatarian, South Beach diet, Mediterranean diet, carnivore, animal-based, keto. None of that really matters. You just need to be in a calorie deficit. Simple as that. You know, most people usually like carnivore because it's easy. It's a no-brainer, right? So, and that it's a no-brainer. They just tell you like, yo, just eat meat, just eat meat, and meat is a good source of fuel, because like when it comes down to the macros, first you're eliminating a lot of carbohydrates out of your diet, and maybe you're getting some fats in your diet if you're doing lean cuts. So you're getting a little bit of fat, and then also you're getting a lot of protein. So keeping the fats low, right? That's going to help you stay in the deficit. So if you're on a carnivore diet, probably want to keep your fats around like 50, 60 grams, maybe even 70 grams, right? So that's one part of it, especially if you're getting a lot of lean cut meats, because the lean cut meats, the fat intake is not that high. You're looking at 3 to 6 grams of fat for every 4 ounces of meat, right? And that's just a ballpark figure. And then with the protein, you're getting about like 40 to 50 grams of protein for every 4 ounces of lean meat, right? So if like some people can't pound that much meat because meat is very heavy, right? And it takes the body energy to break it down. So some people usually get full very fast with a meat diet. Like they'll eat about like 4 to 8 ounces. They'll feel satiated, and then they go on their way. Doesn't mean that the carnivore was the magical diet that helped them lose weight, or by default they were already in a deficit by eating foods that makes them feel full. It's the second choice. They already felt full, and by eliminating everything out of the diet except and only eating one particular source of macros, that helps them put them into a deficit. Does that make sense? So it's the same, and it's the same thing. I'm not going to sit here and just like smash carnivores and their diets, even though I'm not a big fan of it. You know, and I said this before, I'm just not a big fan because there's not a lot of evidence behind it saying that it's healthy. Like, that's it. But it's not just because, like, yeah, they're just killing more animals and stuff. No, it's more on because every diet, like, there's an animal involved, right? Even on a plant-based vegan diet, there's some type of animal involved, right? So it's not really that. Like, I have common sense. What it is that it's just that the science isn't there. So you could do it for a quick fix, but I don't think it's smart to do it because it's not the best choice to do it because you're using it as a weight loss hack and you're not building good habits. And this is something that I tell a lot of my clients is like, you don't want to do diets to lose weight. Right? And when I say diets, I mean like it's like cheesy diets. Like I'm going to go carnivore to lose weight. I'm going to do keto to lose weight. I'm going to go on a fast to lose weight, a juice cleanse to lose weight. I'm going to go intermittent fasting for losing weight. Like you don't want to do these things for that particular purpose. If you want to lose weight, you just need to find a plan to help aid you lose weight. So, for example, if you started working with me, and what I do with my clients is simple. Like, if they're plant-based, we're not changing anything around. We're just making sure they're eating healthier. Number one, that's how they should be. That's how you should be eating, anyways. And then number two, the portions of the foods. So, like, if someone was eating tofu, and just to give you a primary example, if someone was eating tofu scramble on a weight loss journey, what would be the difference if they ate tofu scramble when they're building muscle and they're trying to gain weight? Just the size of the meal. That's it. That's the only difference. Same ingredients, just bigger portions. Simple. So all the meals that I provide for a lot of my clients are meals that they can have every single day. And the only difference is just going to be the portions of how they're eating. That's it. Simple as that. So it's like for example, like when someone's losing weight, I always tell them that, and this is like a real prime example, I'll be like, rice, beans, and breads are probably not the best foods to have right now for weight loss. And they ask why. Is it because it's bad for me? It's not because it's bad for you. It's just that they're calorically dense. So if you're in a weight loss journey and you're trying to lose fat fast, like incorporating rice, beans, and bread, you could have it in a weight loss journey, but it might be a little bit more difficult to stay in a deficit because it's not going to keep you full more than having more vegetables that are lower in quality, that's lower in calories, more nutrient dense, and also higher in fiber. So that means you could eat more food and fill up your stomach better versus rice, beans, and bread you're not going to be able to eat so much. So if you're trying to stay in a deficit, you know what I'm saying? So that's what you want to learn is that. And that's what's going to help you with sustainability, with sustainable results. Because then you really understand nutrition and you know, like, all right, these are the type of foods I should move more towards for weight loss. These are the foods I should move towards if I want to maintain and be able to build more muscle. But don't just go from one boat to another because of a particular goal. Like I want, like I said, weight loss or carnivore to lose weight. Then I'm going to go vegan to maintain it because you're not learning from that. You're just jumping from one diet to the next. And what's going to happen is once you go vegan, you're going to gain the weight. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to gain the weight. Okay, once you get into a bite of a carbohydrate again after a carnivore diet, you're gonna go fucking nuts. So it's like, so that's why I'm like, don't do it, like it's a macronutrient. These are large nutrients that's vital for the body to function. Look it up in the dictionary. It literally says that. Okay. Let's see. Dangerous Sigma said, I'm 120 and 5'9". Is it realistic to lean bulk to 160 by the end of the year while also being a track athlete? No, it's not realistic unless you're on steroids, bro. So it's like 40 pounds of lean muscle mass in 1 year. Like, to be honest with you, I'm not saying it's impossible. You don't have to take steroids. Some people could if you never worked out before. You're saying you're a track athlete, so like depending on your age and stuff like that, like sometimes you could have like a hyper response. So some people naturally could have a hyper response to it. So if you like took away the track and lower the cardio and then strictly focus on lifting weights, it's possible to hit a good 20 extra pounds. It's a big stretch in 1 year, but like it's a big stretch in 1 year. But I'm not saying it's impossible doing it naturally. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always some outliers out there. But usually by average, we're talking about average by the book. Usually takes about 1 year to put on 10 pounds of lean muscle mass. Okay, at least 1 year. So depending on your age and what you're doing and how your program is built as a track athlete, is highly possible. It's highly possible. You just need a program that's going to be more designed to help you do that more effectively so you can see the results. Hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. I am a French 16-year-old vegan powerlifter, and you want to get up in the weight category. Any advice? I want to be honest with you. When it comes to vegan powerlifting and weight categories, I don't know what to tell you because and I'm just being real with you. I don't do powerlifting, so I don't know how that world works. I have friends who does powerlifting. I see them do the sport. I don't even understand how it works. I just see them lifting shit. I don't understand the numbers and the bouts and all that stuff. But I want to be honest with you. Like the only thing I could tell you is technically, if you're just trying to put on weight, you want to be in a slight caloric surplus. So that means that you want to be eating a little bit more food than what you're burning, and that will help you get your weight up. But I feel that you should work with a nutritionist who's familiar with powerlifting, not just a regular nutritionist. Like I'm a sport nutritionist, but I specialize in particular sport, not every single sport, right? Mostly high endurance sports and bodybuilding, right? So those are the ones I specialize the most, not powerlifting, because it's different. Because when it comes to the weight, like, is it like with the powerlifter, does it really matter if it's just pure lean muscle, or do you want to go on body fat? Because I don't know, for whatever reason, I see powerlifters who has a lot of body fat. I see powerlifters that don't. Is there a reason behind that? I don't know. Is having fat on your frame more protective? Does it help you have a better base? I don't know. I never really looked into the sport to really figure out the whole physique thing behind the powerlifting. So I would say definitely get to, I'm just being honest, just go to a powerlifting coach who knows this stuff so they can give you the best advice to help you out. Okay. Sigma says, do you have any recommendations for any good workout diet programs for people looking to gain weight? The best recommendations is going to really be like, hiring a coach, man. Like that's the best recommendations I'm going to tell you. Everything else you could look up, it's nothing else to, I'm not these guys who really comes up and start talking like, yeah, like you could do this and, follow this guy and use this app. Like, I want to be honest with you. Like the best thing is hiring a coach. Like, I don't know. When I grew, I think you asked me, you're a track athlete, right? So if you're a track athlete, you must have a coach for track. So just kind of think about that. Like if you have a coach for track and they help you be able to become faster, why not have a coach to help you build muscle? You know, a lot of the best athletes usually invest money for education and time, you know. So I would say, you know, get a coach. If you're an athlete, your mindset in physical fitness is very serious. So, like, if you take this very seriously, I would definitely take building muscle very seriously as well, and find a coach that's going to help you with that. Again, you could work with me, or you know, you can find other coaches out there that can definitely help you. But that's what's going to really get the best results. I mean, I even have a coach. You know what I'm saying? Just to give you an idea, like I have a coach. So when I'm ready to do bodybuilding, I hire my coach. His name's Dave Bogan, man. I hire him up. I'm like, hey Dave, let's get ready for a show. He helps me with the posing. He helps me with my meals. It's not that I don't know how to make my own meal plan. It's just that I want the best of the best. You know, I want to take the guesswork out. I don't want it, because I'm someone who will overdo it. Like if I was trying to get ripped, like, I mean, I get ripped, like right now on the off season, I got ripped by myself. I didn't use my coach for that. But for me, for lifestyle purposes and for social media or whatever, it's not hard, right? But I'm not super strict like in bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is different, because when I'm getting ripped for a sport, now I'm trying to get crazy ripped. Like I'm trying to get crazy ripped, and I'm investing a lot of money, because now I'm paying to get into a show and get judged on. So, and I could go, and I tried in the past getting ready for a show by myself, and I looked good. But what I did was I overdid it, and because I'm so self-conscious of myself, looking at myself in the mirror, especially when it's a show on top of that, that I'll put myself in such a hard deficit is super unnecessary, where I also lose muscle. And I won't even notice until the show pictures. And by then it's already too late. I'm like, bro, I look so much skinnier. I look like I lost muscle. And it's like, yeah, because you killed yourself with the cut, you know? So that's why I usually get a coach, because they have a second pair of eyes. They can look at me. If they're like, you know, let's bump up the calories, because I get too, once for a show, I get too self-conscious. I get too obsessed with it. And I just need someone to take that out of my mind, look at me, and tell me what I need to do. Lifestyle, I don't care, because it's like, for lifestyle, I'm not trying to get crazy ripped. I'm just trying to get ripped. I just want to have a six-pack. If I wanted, you know, I hate talking about this guy. Literally just said this about cheat meals, but like, if I wanted a cheat meal, I have my cheat days as well. I cheat on my diets, but for a lifestyle, like if I'm like cheating on a diet, I'm not afraid to cheat. You know what I'm saying? I know the consequences behind it. I know I'm not going to get fat overnight, and I know how I train and how I operate. So a cheat day for me is a little bit different from Mrs. Jones down the street, who's on my program, who's trying to lose weight and cheat. It's two different things, because I'm pretty disciplined. So my cheat days are pretty, like, it doesn't give me an idea. A cheat day for me is having some oatmeal. You know, like that. You're like, oatmeal is a cheat day? I'm like, yeah, like it's just eating healthier foods, but maybe a little bit more of it. That's a cheat day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not really worrying about getting crazy fat. But hopefully that answered your question. Sorry, so mundane and blunt, but like it's just the reality, man. You say, yeah, I agree with your analogy of getting coached to build muscle, just like I have a coach. Yeah. Do you have a coaching program that? Yeah. I do have a coaching program. So I'll send you the link as well. Let me print that out. Let me get that copy of that for you. Just give me a sec. Where is it? I'm going to put it in the chat for you. You can set up your meeting. All right. And we'll talk more. All right. Blake says, is intermittent fasting bad if you are bulking? To be honest with you, intermittent fasting is not bad. I mean, it has a lot of benefits when it comes to autophagy, right? So autophagy is when your body goes through its own natural detox. So while you're in that where you're in that fasting state, your body's able to detox a lot of toxins out of your body. So that's a good thing. Now, the only negative thing is that if you're bulking, it really depends on the individual. It's like if you're able to get all the calories you need in a certain time window, then it's good. But if you have difficulty getting all those calories in that time window, obviously it's bad and you shouldn't do it, right? So the intermittent fasting has a certain role, but like I said, the benefit is just the autophagy part of it. That's it. Everything else that people try to tag along to it, like it builds discipline and strong mindset and energy. It's all bullshit, man. Like it's all in their mind. It's placebo. But when it comes down to the whole detoxification, yeah, that's right. So that's what I would say for you. That's my take on it. Can't believe I'm 40. I thought I was 28. Nah, I'm 40, man. I wish I was 28 again. But yeah, definitely not that. And trust me, I have the receded hairlines to prove it for y'all. So like, yeah, I'm 40, man. Let's see. Armenia says, I can do 5 pull-ups. Does it mean your body should be mostly muscular and other than that? When it comes to pull-ups, man, Armenia, when it comes to pull-ups, how many pull-ups doesn't equate to how much more muscle you need. Like you just need to get stronger. And the only way you could get stronger by doing pull-ups is just doing more pull-ups. And it sucks to say that, but it is. That's the truth. The only way you get stronger at pull-ups is doing more pull-ups. Now, there's alternatives there's different ways to learn how to do it. So, for example, you could do like a negative pull-up. So, a negative pull-up is literally, I don't know if I can show y'all from here, but yeah, I can. It's right. I'll show you. So a negative pull-up, not Netflix, YouTube. All right, is this right here? I don't know if I can share. Oh yeah, I can't. I don't know if I can share it. Let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. Negative pull-up. There it is. So a negative pull-up is pretty much this right here. So you're bringing yourself up. You could get like a box, and then you're going to jump up on your bar, hold yourself, right? And then slowly come down. Now, by doing these negative pull-ups, you're focusing on the activation of the muscles like the lats, the biceps to help support you to do the pull-up. And then once you get that stronger, then you can pop out some more. So you could pump out some more, or you could do that, or you could do assisted pull-ups. So with the assisted pull-ups, how this works is, I'm showing you negative. Here's the assisted. So assisted pull-ups looks like this. So when you see that weight stack right there, so the more weight you put on that stack is going to be a counterbalance for the weight that you're pulling up. So when you're doing that, this is a great way. This is a great way to start repping out more pull-ups, because each week as you go to this machine, you could do a couple of free pull-ups, and then let's say you did 5 by yourself and you can't do any more, then you could go to that machine, and then like let's say you put it on like 100 pounds and take 100 pounds off you, and then you can do like another like 10 or 15. And that's what's going to really help you build up your strength in the pull-ups. But the muscle has nothing to do with it. Like this, like there's people who, some of the best people who done like broke Guinness World Records doing pull-ups, they didn't have that much muscle anyway. They were all like skinny dudes. You know what I'm saying? So just let that sink in. So that's how that is. Let's see. Tactical Thunder says, how do you maintain a ripped six-pack while gaining weight and muscle? Man, you came in late. So like I said before, mostly through a carb cycling program. And I could show y'all, I could bring that up again since some people are now coming in and they came a little late. But the carb cycling looks like this. All right, closed it. Damn. Let's see. Let's bring it up. So the plans look similar to this. So there's days that they're eating low calories and days that they're eating high amount of calories. So this is what we do to help people be able to lose body fat and build muscle. It's called carb cycling. All right. So this is how you're able to lose body fat, get ripped, and build muscle at the same time. But when you're in this type of meal plan, like this is what I'm gonna be honest with you. I usually do this a lot. I carb cycle a lot. Like that's what I do. It's one of the reasons why I'm able to stay ripped and build muscle. And the times when I bulk, like I usually tell people that when I'm bulking, sometimes I've taken like a year off. Like last year I bulked, but then going into this year, I started to cut because I was just tired of eating a lot of food, and I enjoy just how I feel. I like being lighter. And I don't mind putting on muscle a little bit slower because when you're trying to build muscle in a carb cycle, like you won't put on muscle as fast as if you were in a cut. As if you were in a slight caloric surplus. So, or a bulk. So that's the only downfall with carb cycling. But if you're someone like me that already has a lot of muscle and you feel pretty confident and comfortable with your body, it's not a big issue. But that's how I usually do it. Let's see. It says, does sprinting help with bodybuilding or give you more aesthetic body? There's people who does there's people who does sprints and it's more likely called HIIT training and can get ripped, but you're not going to really see a lot of bodybuild, like people who does bodybuilding really do it. You're going to see more people like CrossFit, people who does like they're calling it hybrid athletes and stuff, people like that who does these type of sports. They like, you could do that. But more like if you're just saying bodybuilding in general, like you really don't see a lot of bodybuilders doing it because we're so focused on aesthetics and building muscle and not so focused on the performance aspect. Because like bodybuilding, you're trying to put on more muscle. It's always about putting on more muscle. That's like the catalyst of bodybuilding. It's putting on more muscle and being ripped. So to do that, especially when it's time to get ripped, you're not really fueling your body enough to be able to handle so much stress with the sprinting. Versus if you did like hybrid athletes, CrossFit, or just lifestyle stuff and just want to be ripped for lifestyle, it's a little bit different because you can fuel your body more. And to have a six pack, you're not trying to get like a bodybuilder. You're just trying to look good. Like you're just trying to have a six pack, like not chiseled. You know what I mean? And that's the difference, because the like six pack can mean anything. Like, are you talking about chisel, like looking like a trophy chisel, or just a six pack? Yeah, because you can have a six pack and be at like 7, 8, 9% body fat, sometimes even 12% body fat. You can still have a six pack. Maybe it's a little soft, but it's still there. It's noticeable. Versus like, bodybuilding, you're at like 5, 4, 3, these very sub-level body fat percentages where it's super ripped and you just see vascularity everywhere. Like that's another level. But people that I won't even just say people, but when you get that low in that percentage, your performance is straight trash. It's not the best. And I'm telling you that firsthand. Like when I'm that low, like I just want to get done with the show. Like I love how I look. I try to get as much photos and do what I can, but it's just very hard to sustain at that level. I love it, but it's just like I hate it too, because it's like your performance is just whack, and your food and routine is so like strict, and you just there's no like wiggle room for any mistakes. Like once you have a few bites of some good food, man, that shit just goes away so fast. So hope that answers your questions. Hey, Corinne, what's the ideal amount of protein you recommend for optimal muscle strength and muscle gains? 1 gram per body weight. It's the same thing that you hear from everybody, man. Like 0.8 to 1 gram per body weight. It's the same thing. If you're really trying to put on muscle, that's going to be the best all the way around. I know there's people who might do less, but some people don't respond that well. Like some people respond well with higher protein, some people don't. Some people could respond pretty well with lower amount of protein. Well, for me, I would say 1 pound per body weight. And when I say per body weight, I mean like lean weight, like lean muscle weight. I've been plant-based for several months, but I find it hard to fit adequate protein into my meals without overloading on tofu and protein powders every meal. So what you want to do is use MyFitnessPal and start tracking those foods and try to figure out how to do that. Now, one thing you can do, and I'll put this in the chat as well, is I have a cookbook, right? So that could be a good guide that you can use to help you make macro-friendly meals, because that's the piece that a lot of people struggle with, is learning how to make macro-friendly meals and incorporating it into their diet, because it feels like a puzzle, right? And it is a puzzle. It's a math game, but you have to kind of like measure everything. You have to measure all your ingredients, like to really get it down, especially on a plant-based diet. You have to measure everything. But that's why I provide the services that I do, because I've been there trying to learn that by myself, and it's very difficult. It took me literally like a year to figure that shit out, and really, because it's one, like when you're eating meat, it's a lot easier than when you're plant-based. I tell you that, because when you're eating meat, you already know where you get your protein source, and lean proteins. It's simple. It's animal-based proteins, lean chicken, lean turkey, lean steak, fish. Like it's easy, right? And then when the carbs and fats, you got your grains, legumes, and then your nuts and seeds. But plant-based is hard because there's not a lot of lean protein sources. Only protein powder or seitan. And some people don't even know what seitan is. So because when I went plant-based, I didn't even know what seitan was. I never really even looked at tofu or even thought about tofu. I know about it, but it never came to my mind until I talked to a friend, and they were like, have you ever tried tofu? It's very high in protein, So I was trying to get a lot of protein out of rice, beans, vegetables, only things I knew, but I didn't know how to incorporate it into my diet until I started really learning and started tracking my nutrients. And then first it stemmed off with just macronutrients, right? So once I learned that, I was like, okay, I got that. I know how to hit my macros now. And that took me a while to understand and dial in, because I realized like tofu is not just a lean protein source, but it also has fat. Seitan, depending on what seitan you get, or if you make it on your own, could be low in fat, could be high in fat and high in protein. Sometimes it could be low in protein, depending on what it is. Then you got your protein powders and stuff like that. But how much protein powder can you drink all day? And then you got tempeh. And then then you have other foods like beans, rice, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds. How can I get protein from that while keeping my fats low and getting my carbohydrates high, or whatever the case can be? Like, how can it's a balancing act. So I've been doing this for years. That's why I created the cookbook, because in the cookbook, I took all the things that I know and made macro-friendly meals already wrapped up, ready to go. So the only thing you got to do is just look at it, copy it, just change the measurements of the foods that's already there, and then you're ready to rock and roll. 10 times easier, 10 times faster to learn, versus what I was doing was like shooting in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Is it true? Dangerous Signal said, is it true that running and cardio actually kills your gains and a lot of your results from the gym to go to waste? When it comes to running and burning muscle mass, when it comes down to that, it depends on how aggressive you are with the cardio. Okay. I mean, if your cardio is pretty light, you can put on a lot of muscle while still running and sprinting. But if it's pretty heavy and you just like, you're running like 5-10 miles, like tough. And I'm telling you this by firsthand experience. Like I was in the Marine Corps, and in the Marine Corps, I was running like 15-20 miles weeks, right? Sometimes even 30s. And I was always going to the gym, working out. And guess what? It was so hard to put on mass. I only started putting on mass when I was in the military, was one, when I was deployed, a little bit going to Iraq because I was on ship. So I had a month to actually work out in the gym. I put on a little bit of mass. I didn't work out when I was in war, but on the way back, I had a good, I think how many days we were on sea? I think maybe 8 weeks, 6-8 weeks, something like that. I was out on sea, and I was going to the gym literally like 2 days, two times a day, about 5 days out of the week, sometimes 6. I was going to the gym all the time. I was eating a lot of food. I was having about like 4 meals a day, and I put on so much mass that because I used to, like, just to give you an idea, when I was like 20, I think I was like 20, 21. Yeah, I was 21 at the time. I was 21 at the time, and I was coming back from war. And once I got back, all my clothes were smalls. So that's how small I was. And at the time I got off ship, I was already in a medium. So like, so I knew I had to I definitely put on size, because I had to give all my clothes away to some of my friends that was my neighbors in the military. And the first day back, it was so embarrassing because I had this super tight ass shirt on, and I even told my friend, they're like, "Why you got that tight shirt on?" And I was like, "Dude, this is the same shirt I always had, but it's so tight because I put on so much mass, which is a good thing. But if I don't put this on, I'll have nothing to wear to go to the mall to buy some more clothes." So I was like, "But once I get back and buy some new clothes, I'll give you this shirt too." And that's what I had to do. And that's only because I wasn't running. Yeah, I wasn't doing all this running. And then I put on more size when I got out of the Marine Corps and got to the Navy, because when I was in the Navy, I was in the reserves. So being in the reserves, this is like part-time. So by being part-time, I wasn't really doing all these runs that they had us doing all the time. And I was able to put on more mass. And then obviously doing bodybuilding and learning about nutrition, I was able to put on even more muscle from there. So, when it comes to that, it really depends on, I don't want to just say like, yes, it does, but it is more on the yes side, but it really depends on like how taxing you're putting, how much stress and how much, I'm not even going to say taxing, but how much running you're actually doing that can actually crush those gains. If it's just a little light run or something, not really, but being a track athlete, probably, And I have track athletes who actually worked in my program and wanted to put on muscle. And when I told them about the cardio, I have them doing more steady state. They were able to put on more mass a lot faster. And athletes adapt to these type of programs a lot faster because you already know what it takes to train. Like you're not being light on the training. You're going hard, and you have that athletic mindset. So like you have that aggression when it comes to training. It's like you're just going go in and go home, like go hard with it, if that makes sense. Let's see. Aren't the plant-based meats you recommend in your videos ultra processed and unhealthy for you to eat on a regular basis? No. All the plant-based meats that I recommend on my channel is actually not ultra processed. They're minimally processed and they're very healthy. It's foods that I eat every day. So I wouldn't recommend foods that I eat every day that's unhealthy, because if that was the case, then I would be unhealthy. And my whole premise of having a business is a health and fitness business. It would be unethical to give people unethical practices of things that I do that I wouldn't do myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very transparent. I show people what I eat. I actually meal prep the meals in front of y'all. I've done lives where, and people who's been following me for a long time knows I'm not a bullshit person. I hate people who bullshit with me and want to waste my time, and people who are not serious. I'm very like that. Like I hate people like that, because like I know what it takes to get results. And I hate people who get on the phone with me. Hey, I want to be your friend. I want to train with you, and then they don't do anything to do for like, because I'm like, you're going to stay fat forever. Don't fucking call me. I'm like that, because I know what it takes. It's action. It's not waiting, stemming around, chit chatting, all this bullshit. It's taking action that gets results. That's it. So when it comes to the shit that I show, I'm very transparent with it. I'm like, hey, this is what you got to do. This is what I eat. And I show my blood work all the time. I'm very, like, people who really follow me for a long time knows this. They know me. They're like, yeah, Corinne's the real dude, because he doesn't bullshit. He shows his blood work all the time in his videos. He does lives, cooking foods, making foods. I've been on TV making foods live. You know what I'm saying? I have a cookbook with all the ingredients that I show, and you can and if you still don't believe me, just back check all the ingredients. You know what I'm saying? Back check all of it. But if you want to back check. But also at the same time, I have thousands of testimonials of people who got tons of benefits. No one's not there saying that they're complaining that they got sick or unhealthy or their hair fell out on my plans. You know what I'm saying? And I know you're just asking a simple question. I'm not like, but I get heated a little bit, because I'm just like, nah, man, like it's healthy. You know what I mean? So when I know where it stems from, because you have people online says that, like, yeah, processed foods from plant-based is unhealthy and they're ultra processed, but they're just it's like me calling a kid retarded just because he wears a pink shirt. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you're just pointing fingers and throwing labels and throwing names at people. That's what this is the world we live in these days. You have people just talking shit. That's all they're doing. They're just saying, yeah, it's ultra processed. It looks like meat. It's shit. It's ultra processed. And they just curse and make you feel like, oh, it must be that bad, because they're coming with such anger with it. But if you read the label, right? Just read the label. You have everyone got smartphones. It's like we live in a world with technology, with the answers on the touch of our hands. We have AI now. I mean, you could literally just like hold the phone and ask AI the question, and it would literally spit you out the answer. And people still won't believe that, because they're like, well, my AI is false data. It's the government controlling. Like, it's always something, man. But the reality is like that. You could literally look in the back of the ingredients, like uptown seitan. We could actually, since we're even talking about it, let's go deeper into it. I think it's a good topic, man. But since we're talking about, like, look at this. Like, if we do the Upton seitan, right? Because I've seen this happen. Like, so we see this. Like, I've seen people say this about this product, and I even showed them the ingredient, and then they still say it's ultra processed, and then it doesn't make sense. It's just like it just shows how ignorant people are. But let's click on here, right? If we see here, ingredients, water, vital wheat gluten, soy sauce, right? Which is made out, and then even put it in quotations so you know how the soy sauce is made: water, soybeans, wheat, and salt, apple cider vinegar, garlic. I don't know how to say that word. I hope someone hujilo is some type of seasoning, right? Oregano, sea salt, onion, cumin, black pepper, and then containing soy and wheat. That's it. The only word I don't know how to say is this, and we can even look that up. It's a chili pepper. That's what it says, and it's guajillo. Let's see how to say that. Guajillo. Yeah. Now I know how to say it. So I don't sound all retarded and shit. Like I can't read. Guajillo. All right. But that's it. Look at that. Yeah. And this is what people I've made videos about this. This is one of the foods I eat all the time. I even show people this on videos. I show these ingredients, and people will still say it's ultra processed. I'm like, how's it ultra processed? It's like me saying pancakes is ultra processed, or waffles are ultra processed, or coffee is ultra processed. It's not ultra processed. These are foods. This is a food that you can literally make at your home, right? That's it. Okay. Even Beyond, like Beyond gets a really bad rap, but it's not as bad as what people think, right? Because they changed up their ingredients a lot, but people don't want to hear it because they rather hear some animal-based doctor or animal-based dude who's just like talking shit about it, and because it looks like meat, that's their staple. Well, it looks like meat, so and it's fake, so it's bullshit. That's their thing, right? But if we go to here, people would say, "Oh, this is bullshit. The American Heart of Diabetes and Association, this is all bullshit." And it's like, you don't even understand how hard it is to get your shit certified by these guys, but people don't care about that. But if you look at the ingredients, water, wheat gluten, fava bean protein, you got some canola oil in there. All right. Now, this right here, this is where people get freaked out because they're like, oh, the seed oils. But here's the thing. Like, there's no scientific evidence that support that seed oils are bad. This is just fear mongering. And I don't even know how that shit got out of control. You got the natural flavors, right? And this might scare some people, but the natural flavors is just coming from like this stuff. That's it. It's not anything chemical. All right, people get freaked out. But it says right here, natural flavors, 2% or less of garlic powder, salt, onion powder, potassium salt, spices like wheat, with parsley, basil. It's like a blend. Oregano, red pepper, and celery. You got sugar. You got citric acid, which is these are just like small fillers for food. Vinegar, pomegranate concentrate, yeast extract, vegetable juice color, and olive oil. All right. Now, this isn't as ultra processed. I'll see, like, if we're comparing the two between this one and the Upton's, right? This is obviously a cleaner product, right? because less ingredients. There's no crazy things going on, but this isn't bad either. You know what I'm saying? This isn't that bad. I've seen food way worse. Like this is ultra processed. I'm trying to see if we can find the ingredients. Do they even show it? Let's see. This is ultra processed. Sugar, unbleached enriched flour, right? It has all these ingredients in there. The palm oil, that's not good. And it's not because it's seed oil. It's just palm oil is inflammatory. You know what I'm saying? With soybean and canola oil, so it has a blend or they have the cacao processed with alkali. I don't even know what that is. Has high fructose corn syrup. We all know that's bad. You know, you got some baking soda or some calcium phosphate. So I mean that's normal. But then you have the salt, soy lecithin. You have the chocolate artificial. See, it even says artificial flavors. That's not good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it only contains soy and wheat, but you can see like, and this isn't even as bad. Like they changed up their ingredients list as well. I mean, it's a little bit better, but still, it's not the best. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes down to this, these are foods that can literally last on the shelf a long time. So that's something you want to think about too. Like how long? What's the shelf life on these? On this, the shelf life on this is years, right? Like, but the shelf life on this, it's not that long. Shelf life on this isn't that long either. You know what I'm saying? So that's also determines that's also going to determine like what's processed and what's ultra processed, right? So I would even say this is moving more towards the direction of minimally processed because it is using more natural ingredients. I want to say real natural ingredients like real food versus and like I said, like this would be better. This is more minimally than this one, but I wouldn't tell people that they couldn't eat this. But I would be more worried if people were trying to eat this a lot more frequently, you know, because like because of certain ingredients that we read. Hopefully that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Says Carrie says, do you recommend a specific diet for arthritis? Yeah, whole foods plant based diet. That's going to be hypernourishment. That's going to help a lot with arthritis. So eating a lot of greens, eating a lot of berries, some nuts and seeds. Those foods are really going to help with arthritis because if you're getting your healthy fats, you're getting the vitamin C in. That's going to be anti-inflammatory to help with the inflammation from the arthritis. So definitely a whole foods plant-based diet is going to play a big role. Yogurt. Yeah, that's ultra processed. Yeah, sugar. Yeah, foods that has sugar, syrup, saturated fats. Yeah, exactly. Those are the ingredients you want to look at. That's what makes it super processed. What's your opinion on Saibao foods? I don't know. I never heard of them. They're, I'm trying to look for it right now, but I don't see anything. Yeah, I think you're spelling it wrong. I don't see anything online about it. All right, so I think I'm getting a little tired. So maybe answer one more question. Let's see. Oh, Instagram is sending me a whole bunch of stuff. Someone said the Oreos in Portugal are the real deal. They prohibit additives. Oh shit! I would like to try that. That'd be dope. Someone said, Red Rose Redemption said, I had a customer try to lecture me about seed oils, and I'm a chef. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Um, so, M Bar 50 says, we're going to mess up the regular food chain and be forced to eat plants. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I really think so too. Uh, La Soledades says chili guajillo. It's delicious. Yeah, I just figured out how to say this whole entire time. I was always jacking that word up. I didn't even know what it was until now. Good thing I looked at it. All right. Oh, Insanity Insecurity says, are there any guides for plant-based people who also have life-threatening nut allergies, as many brands? That's a good question. I mean, maybe I could make a guide about people that has nut allergies, but yeah, I don't have a guide right now personally just for that. Because I usually just make customized meal plans for people that has nut allergies, and that's it. But I don't have any free guides or anything with that. But it's something I could put into the making for sure. Put it on the drawing board. All right. Well, with that said, I'm getting tired and pretty hungry. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and head to bed and get some food in my body. I'm getting tired. I can't even talk anymore. And also, I saw Vegan Events Orlando. I should have said this in the middle of the chat when there was more people there, but like I will be in Orlando tomorrow for the International Food Festival. So that's going to be in Orlando. So if you do live in the Orlando area, definitely check it out. I'm going to be there trying out some delicious food. I loved it last year when I first went, and I can't wait to see what the vendors are going to be there for this year. I know I'm bringing a backpack, so I can bring some goodies home as well. But I will be there as well, speaking, doing like a quick live Q&A for 30 minutes. And then I'm just going to be like, networking, talking to some people. If I see you, let's take some pictures, say hi, and and let's eat. But with that said, talk to y'all soon. Have a good day. Peace.